And hello, welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Daren Jaime. Today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough, as well as across New York City. Coming up, we'll delve into the operations of a not-for-profit organization that's dedicated to enhancing the lives of older adults through a comprehensive array of community-based service programs. And then we'll explore how a middle school in the South Bronx is committed to delivering robust liberal arts education challenges as it challenges, and empowering its students. And then as March is Social Work Month, we'll shed some light on the pivotal role of social workers and address common misconceptions surrounding mental illness. And then later on in the show, we'll highlight an exhibit that's tackling women's rights and other critical social issues. We'll discuss more details later on in the show. And then we'll uncover a program providing student athletes with the tools they need to thrive both on and off the field. And then finally, we'll shine a spotlight on one of the largest volunteer income tax assistance programs that we have in the United States. We're going to illuminate its significant impact on communities nationwide. So stay tuned, because all this and much more is heading your way, because right now we're officially open. Hello, everyone. I am Daren Jaime. You're now watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on the MNN channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Some things have been going on through the course of the past week, and we're going to take you through it with some Bronx updates. And we start off with community news. Several community board members distributed flyers and assisted Bronx residents in registering to serve on the community board. Our BronxNet reporter Jonathan Calixto was there and has our story.
Board and community members gathered outside of the Marshallou Parkway 4 train station to encourage Bronxites to join their local community boards.
Once I did join, and I started to find out how important a function it was as to what was involved in our community and things happening in our community, which then I could bring back to my neighbors and give them any information.
Yo estaba conociendo mucha diferente gente de diferentes organizaciones y de los políticos, y fue muy buena experiencia, yo creo.
Some Bronxites like Elizabeth Lugo took the opportunity to also ask about their personal concerns.
I stopped to ask them if they could help people get an apartment according to your income.
After hearing that the community board could help with more information, Elizabeth left with a sign of hope.
I'm going to go to the meeting. I don't know what's going to do, but if you stay home, you get nothing.
Applications to join the community board close on Friday, March 1st. Reporting for BronxNet, Jonathan Calixto.
And thank you, Jonathan. That's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but we'll have more Open when we return.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. I host a show at BronxNet called The Legends, where I bring real legends, DJs, upcoming artists, actually people from the past that's into entertainment. I want to thank BronxNet. First of all, I want to thank for the 30 years of the actually being active here. It has opened a lot of doors for me to the point where I'm branching off to have my own network. Fulfill your dreams here. That's all I have to say.
And welcome back. Neighborhood Self-Help by Older Persons Project. SHOPP is what the acronym is. It's an organization dedicated to being a cornerstone of support for older adults. Now, SHOPP's commitment to empowering seniors and fostering mutual aid within communities has been unwavering for over 4 decades. And joining us now are the Neighborhood SHOPP's chief program officers, Tanisha Rodriguez and Diana Delgado. We thank you both for joining us, and we talk about a unwavering commitment. You guys have been around for a minute yourselves. So how long have you been with the organization?
I've been with Neighborhood Shop for 17 years.
Same. I've actually been 17 years.
Boots on the ground, right
Yes,
there.
that's
Okay,
right.
well, thank you for the work that you do, and just really have an opportunity to talk about really paving the way for seniors and helping seniors to be able to, deal and navigate some challenges when things are out there. When we talk about community, we talk about also empowering older adults. This is one of the things that you guys do.
Yes.
So share a little bit about it.
So Neighborhood Shop is an innovative multi-service nonprofit organization that not only serves older adults, but we also work with their families through caregiving along with the disabled of all ages. So we have been a pillar in the Bronx for, as you mentioned, going on 44 years, and we are very big in keeping the community informed, connected, engaged, and kept safe in the community.
Yeah. So Diana, a little bit about your work.
Yes. So I oversee all the congregate programs, and they involve the older adult centers. And also we have a community care network program that the programming actually runs parallel to the older adult centers. So what you would know them as, or most of the viewers would know them as, is the senior centers.
Right.
And we also have our naturally occurring retirement community at Lafayette Estates, as well as our
Community Care Network program?
Yeah, because the Community Care Network program, as I said, it does run parallel. But the gist of the programs that I actually oversee is to make sure that the clients are engaged, they're coming out into the community. We offer a lot of different activities, as well as meals.
Right. Talk to me about attendance, right? Because we're coming, I'm going to say we're out towards the end of COVID. It's still present. Please don't email me. But here we know that things have changed a whole lot differently. A lot of questions really centered on whether or not we would see seniors become more and more active utilizing the center. What are you seeing on your end in terms of utilization and attendance?
So at the beginning of it, as we were coming back, from, let's say, from COVID, if you will, there were some challenges because folks were naturally, afraid to come out and afraid to be in a crowd. But in terms of our organization, we've made sure that we covered all of our bases when it comes to the safety, making sure that we reassure them that we, in terms of the cleaning and sanitizing and things like that. So little by little, I think at this point we could really say that COVID is behind us. I would like to think that way. And, they're coming in and enjoying activity. I think what's very important is to keep it very relevant, right? The activities that we have, the meals that we're serving, making sure that we're there for our community, and they're very receptive, so.
Yeah. Tanisha, a little bit more about the work, because when we talk about helping older persons out and seniors out, what are some of the basic needs that you're finding that they're needing during this time?
We address a lot of food insecurity, and we do that through several of our programming. So not just our older adult centers, we also provide that through our case management program as we work with the homebound older adults, and we ensure that we keep them connected, as I mentioned, and also through all of our programming. We have an elder justice program where, as we keep them safe addressing the abuse on hand, we also look at what the presenting need is, and we will address what that person does need to keep them safe in the community. Through our caregiving, we look at the many responsibilities that a caregiver may have. So it could be food, it could be long-term care resources. So we really look at the presenting problem, and that's what we would address.
Yeah. And I know when you have seniors, you're used to seeing them on a regular, and sometimes if you don't see them on a regular, you also have a visiting program that really deals with that as well.
Yes, so through our Friendly Visiting program, it is connected to our case management program that is geared to helping the homebound older adults, someone who is not able to come in to our programming. So there's an in-home assessment, and we look at who this person is connected to and how do we keep them engaged. And we have taken many strides in addressing social isolation through the Friendly Visiting program, where a volunteer would go once or twice a month or conduct a weekly call, keeping that person connected and just keeping them socialized.
Right.
Socialized.
So if there's a small coffee table, Diane, we'd just have the conversation. I just asked you the question, like, what would be the service that you're most proud of at your organization?
That's a good
That's
question,
hard.
but that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Because we have so many, right?
Because we have so many. And
There you go.
I think what's really special in terms of our organization is we're one-stop shop.
Right.
So we serve those that are homebound and frail, all the way to those that are very able-bodied, and they're able to come out to the community and receive the services within our offices or sites. But yeah, it's really hard because
Yes, through that one-stop shop, we have our call center, which is the New York Connects program. And that's really the one-stop shop, because as you enter through one programming of SHOPP, you may be serviced through several, because we believe it takes a village, and we don't stay within our own silos. We work as a team. So again, we look at exploring the need of the individual, and that's what we would address. I mean, that could be through multiple of our programming.
Right. You talk about food insecurity, and I know that's huge, right?
Yes.
But from your eyes, boots on the ground, what else are you seeing on your end that maybe that we don't know about that we should be paying attention to, that you're actually servicing to?
So I think accessibility. So I think a lot of times when you see someone, let's say an older adult, your assumption could be there's a lot of services out there for them, and I'm sure they're connected. So it's important to realize, to check in with our older adults. And if they're not connected, if they're not receiving services that they need, to give an organization like Neighborhood Shop a call and to connect them. So I think that's a misconception. But there's so many services that are out there. We're here, right? We're here. And it's important for the public or the viewers to know that there's resources.
Yeah, I think where the economy is today is also dependability on, I'm going to refer to our elder justice program, right? We have many seniors who are not reporting the abuse that's going on in the home because they may be financially dependent on this abuser.
Right.
And, you know, we are very big on wanting to ensure that SHOPP is the place to go if you are in need of help in any capacity.
I mean, it's a variety of services that you do offer, and I think that as you talk about doing this, I'm asking questions, but the reality is those are on the other side of the camera saying, I didn't recognize how many needs seniors have, but then you're also able to, bring that all up under, your roof. And talk about numbers. Are they continuing to rise in terms of people coming through your door?
Absolutely.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Even throughout the pandemic, we may have struggled with older adults not coming in post-pandemic, but even now, once we opened back up, they were happy, and we are here to serve them.
All right. Tanisha, we got to leave it here. Diana, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Definitely. And come back again and see us, all right?
You got it.
All right. Well, I want you to know, if you want more information, visit the website at NShop, that's 2 P's, .org, and then also follow them on social media at nshop2ps.org, I should say. All righty? Don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
BronxNet is a wonderful place because it inspires people that want to consider a career in film and television. It's a way to come, learn, it's cost effective, and it's a way to actualize your dreams.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city, and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak, and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
And we are back. The South Bronx Early College Academy Charter School offers a rigorous liberal arts education to middle school students in the South Bronx. Now, their approach emphasizes personalized instruction and inclusivity, fostering a student-led, student-centered learning environment. And joining me now, we've got the South Bronx Early College Academy Principal, David Krowitz, and then also Vice Principal, Zakia Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and so as we talk about really getting students ready, I know you're at the heart of that, and tell us where you're located, first of all.
Sure. We are a small independent charter school in our own private building on East 156th Street, just off Westchester Avenue.
And you've got a particular mission with your school. So when you walk in the building and people have an opportunity to be a part of the culture, what's the vision, the mission of the school?
It's a great question. We think our vision and mission is to serve the local community with exactly what students need in middle school. Middle school is a complicated time for children, for adolescents, and we hope our school provides them with a rigorous education that gets them ready for the most competitive high schools and colleges, and also a fun and engaging education that meets their needs and gets them excited about learning.
Yeah. Takia, a little bit about the curriculum. I mean, for somebody who's coming through your doors, what can they anticipate?
Well, all of our students take math, science, English, and social studies, but they also have a plethora of electives to choose from. Some of them breakdancing, coding, art to choose from, and music.
And so for those people who may be ESL, talk to us about that. How does that work?
We do have a significant number of students who are still learning English, English language learners or multi-language learners, sometimes we call them now. They get the same education that everybody else gets. They get the same courses that everyone gets. But we think we provide a lot of extra supports that students need. We have small group instruction a few times a week. And in particular, when students are really brand new in the country, they get an extra class that really supports students who are still learning English from the beginning.
And for teachers and staff that you have on board, talk to us a little bit about the culture, your makeup of teachers and staff.
We think obviously the staff is the most important thing. We have an excellent group of teachers and support staff. We have social workers at every grade level. As leaders, we think our role is partly to work very closely and collaboratively with teachers to help them write and develop the most engaging and supportive lessons. And it's important, and it's very, very challenging. Being a teacher is a difficult job. But we hope we have a faculty that really represents our community. We have a lot of teachers who are from the Bronx. We have teachers who speak Spanish and can do other things to help the English language learners that you mentioned as well.
Right. Yeah. So anytime you walk into school, there's a particular culture, right? You know this school is known for this, or this is who we are. When I walk through the door, what's that culture? What are you going to tell me? This is who we are.
I think one of the things, or two things that would really showcase who we are as a school is our advisory program. Students get 5 days of advisory. Once they come into our doors at SPECA, they're put into groups of 15, which gives them an opportunity to be really known by a faculty member in the school, but also gives us the opportunity to really get to know the student and the family. Because we know that getting to know the student as a whole child is the most important to making sure that they really engage with learning.
And I know one of the things you have is an extended day program as well, right? And so can you walk us through a little bit about what does the extended day program look like?
So our extended day program, our doors open for students at 7:30, but students can stay as long as 5:45 p.m. So our school day is longer than most. The actual academic portion of the day ends at 4, but from 4 to 5:45, our students are able to engage in various sports because we are associated with the Charter School Athletic League, but also cooking, art, and other fun elective and enriching activities up until 5:45 p.m. every day.
And how do students handle that? I mean, because, when you talk about staying in the building a little bit longer, I mean, I'm trying to get home. Let's just keep it honest.
There are always some kids who want to rush home right at the end of the school day, absolutely. But we do. We have a rich partnership with WEDCO, the Women's Housing and Economic Development Corporation. And they provide support for us for our after-school program, for our social work team, and a lot of other things. So I think a lot of kids do stay and love the after-school program.
And remember, we're just trying to make sure that school is fun, but it's also challenging and rigorous. So it's a good combination of it all. So our students are excited to stay longer for the day.
Right. I'm not a hater. I stayed in school long too. I mean, I play basketball, so extracurricular activities, things to do at the end of the day, of course, obviously very appealing. Are very appealing to students of, and all students. I want to talk for a moment about our migrant population because we do know that they are in New York City. Talk to us about where you are in terms of reaching out and having to deal. Are they coming across the doors, and are you servicing?
Absolutely. Obviously, the migrant situation in New York is extremely complicated, and we hope we can be part of the solution. All students in New York deserve the best possible education, and we do have a number of students who are new in the country. As I mentioned, we do have extra classes to support students who are still learning English. But specifically for the migrant population, there are a lot, it's not easy for a kid to be moving, not only moving countries or changing schools, and especially in the middle of a school year. So we hope we are a school, there are lots of schools out there. We hope families know that there are choices. There are hundreds of public, private, and charter schools all around New York City, obviously. And we think SPECA can provide some of the specific things that students need.
Especially because we're looking at the student as a whole, right? So we have 2 teachers in every classroom, we have the strong advisory program, and we really are specializing in getting to know the student as an individual. And we think that's important.
Right. So for you, as you look to the future, got the school year almost over. I know for you guys it's year round, but
Yep.
for the students, how are you approaching, and what can students look forward to as you're getting ready to close out the year?
Well, our students, our 8th grade students just got back their high school acceptance letter, so all of them are very excited with their high school choices. Our 8th graders are taking 3 Regents exams at the end of, or in the middle of June. But also we have a lot of fun activities. We're taking our 8th graders to Howard University. We're taking our 7th graders to see Hamilton, and our 6th graders hopefully are going on a camping trip. So we're trying to, again, build in a lot of rigorous activities, but also fun for students.
People want to find out, get connected, be a part. Sounds like I want to join, get my student enrolled. What do I do?
Absolutely. We obviously we have a website, sbecacs.org, South Bronx Early College Academy Charter School. Families are always welcome to reach out to us. We are hosting tours right now. Applications are open. We hope we can meet as many people as possible, and we hope we're a good school for our students.
I only got a few seconds left.
Right.
Give me the plug for the charter school. Why should somebody consider a charter school?
If you want your kid to feel safe and you want them to be seen, come to SPECA.
See, there you go. Handle it like a champ. Thank you so much. All righty, listen, if you want more information, visit the website, sbecacs.org, and then follow them on Instagram at speca.spartans. Don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this. And welcome back. Acknowledging the importance of seeking assistance when it's needed, it's very crucial, whether it pertains to mental health support or accessing essential city services. Now, throughout the Bronx, social workers play a vital yet overlooked role in facilitating these connections and promoting well-being across all age groups. And in honor of National Social Work Month, we're delighted to have with us today the program coordinator for the Bronx ACT team at VNS Health, Amy Amadasu, and we thank Amy for joining us.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, Daren.
And Amy, a little bit now, because we talk about the work of being a social worker, and when we talk about, you're doing social work at VNS Health, give us a little inside scoop.
Of course. VNS Health, one thing that I love, it definitely provides an integrated approach and a holistic approach to care. I'm part of the behavioral health of VNS Health, and we do provide various cares for families, individuals, adults, and children in the community. Our services are really community related, and our goal is about really providing support and meeting the clients where they're needed.
Yeah. We hear a lot when it comes to behavioral health about mental illness and mental challenges. We know it's very prevalent in society, but yet and still, So many people don't want to talk about it. Give me a little bit about, from your perspective, as to the stereotype and what's reality.
Okay. I do agree. For recent years, there have been an idea of just really educating the public in order to reduce stigma, and we have advocacy groups that that addresses that. We actually have a peer specialist as part of the team who is someone that has a background in with a mental health condition, but is living a full life, is living a whole life, so they can provide support for other participants that have similar struggles. I do believe that I want people to hear that it's okay. We all need support, and we all need help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And I do believe that when we do reach out and we reach out for help and support, it shows how resilient we are.
Mhm.
And at times we are able to see things differently when we and understand and get resources that we didn't even know was there in the first place. So I do, in spite of all the stigma, I do think that awareness, having people that you know employ people that also have same similar conditions and is living a full life, like showing the examples, you know, to us is like is a way to also continue to educate society, to continue to really fight the stigma,
Yeah.
and as well as really understanding that it's okay. We all at some point in our lives need help and support, and understanding to get those resources is very important.
And Amy, awareness is what we're trying to bring about here today, particularly in this segment, to to give a heightened awareness. As you're looking as a social worker into the cases that you deal with, are we seeing more prevalent struggles in your clients, or what are some of the more prevalent struggles that we're seeing?
One of the things that I we've seen, I live and I work in the Bronx, and I definitely have seen firsthand, the challenges that our clients face, from employment issues to food insecurities, to substance use, to an increase, in the youth population, um, with mental health conditions. So that this is something that I am starting to see, and there are services, and our services are there to provide the care that is needed
Yeah.
and meet the clients where they're at. Yeah.
And if you have someone out there right now that's saying, listen, I might be struggling with mental illness, or somebody that says, I really am dealing with some challenges here, what advice do you give about where they can go to get more help?
Well, we do have, like I said, comprehensive care for the mental health. So going to vnshealth.org, uh, you can look through our array of services that is provided. And also, we can also connect to City. A 988 is a city agency where they can connect you to needed services, from crisis services for adults and families to other services that may be needed. Our program specifically is the ACT team, where stands for assertive community treatment. And we work with clients that have had hospitalization within a year, at least 3 hospitalization, and we focus on stabilizing in the community. We are an integrated team. We work with prescribers in a team. We work with behavioral health nurses, and of course, social workers. We provide food resources. We provide intervention family. We have family specialists in the team, where we work with families in understanding the struggles with mental health, and really provide how to support one another. We have substance use specialists in the team, where we provide services where harm reduction, especially since there's been an increase. We done fentanyl and Narcan training for families and and their youths in the community as well, in order to help people to stay safe, in order to connect them to what's out there.
Yeah. Well, I got to get ready to go, but I have to ask you this question. Before we leave, we're celebrating National Social Work Month, and what was it that that was for you, the decision maker, to say, hey, I want to be a social worker?
Well, for me, as being a social worker is an obvious choice. I really love um, in social work just, and which is also what we do at VNS, just the person-centered care. Meeting with people and letting them know that you can have a full life. What your goals are, what your future aspiration is, and meeting you exactly where you are. I love that, and also the holistic approach, the ecosystems approach. That one problem is not viewed with just one area, but that there's an integrated way to solve a problem. So I really, or to solve a condition. So I do think that uh, social work just seems like just the obvious approach for me. And there are so many ways, from management to client-centered care to one-on-one care to providing case management and resources, wide array of opportunities. So this is why I like social work.
Well, Amy Amadasu, thank you so much for being with us. The work that you do as a social worker does not go unnoticed. We want to thank you for the work that you do and certainly get people more connected. Thanks a lot, Amy, for being with us.
Thank you so much for your time.
All righty. Well, listen, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website, vnshealth.org, or call 988. We encourage you, don't go anywhere. We're back with more Open coming up right after this.
The ability to have my show during this time is helpful because I can stay connected with my friends, still interview people, and share my content.
Thank you, BronxNet. Congratulations on 30 years. What an amazing accomplishment. On behalf of myself, Alina Dow, and I represent the Dow Twins and the Dow Twins Show, who are young producers. They started, I think, when they were 11, and now they're 14. They started making 30-second little fun facts, and now they are doing 30-minute shows. And it goes to a testament of how much you guys do in the Bronx to make young people want to continue to be involved. I wish you 30 more amazing years and beyond. Thank you for what you do.
BronxNet is a wonderful place because it inspires people that want to consider a career in film and television. It's a way to come, learn, it's cost effective, and it's a way to actualize your dreams.
And we are back. Speak Up Women Art Social Justice is an exhibition amplifying the voices of women artists addressing critical social issues. Now, this captivating showcase profoundly explores women's rights and broader social justice themes. We've got here with us in studio artist and guest curator Valerie Larco, and then we've also got Dina Higgins. And we thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. We're honored to be here.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to say, first of all, the colors are matching. We're off to a good start.
We are, sir.
That's good. That's good.
Let's do it.
So when we talk about women in social justice, obviously, an opportunity to really speak about some issues that really matter most. And at the same time, we got some other things going on as well. So talk to us about it.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes.
I curated the show, and I know all of the artists in this exhibition. They're all very strong women with strong voices, and they've been making art for decades, a lot of it with social justice and women issue themes. So right here is Dina Higgins, and she can talk about her work in this show. Here's the poster for the show. Designed by Echo Caravan. She's a wonderful designer and also a wonderful activist and artist. And we have Dinah, so go ahead, take it away, Dinah, talk about your work.
Okay, so my work in the show features my pandemic protest series that began during the pandemic lockdown 4 years ago, sort of timely that we're on this anniversary of the declaring it a national emergency. And I started out, I'm a painter. I primarily paint urban landscapes like Valerie. And I was painting sort of the depopulated outdoor spaces in my neighborhood. At the time, I was living in Philadelphia. And then there was amid this sort of summer of 2020, one of the largest civil rights movements we haven't seen since the 1960s. And so I began to focus on that as my subject.
Wow. And so to really have all of these unique people capture, you know, social justice and then also a message. There's a message behind all of this, right? So go ahead and tell us.
Well, the message is speak up, but also listen up. These women have been making art and caring about women's rights, social justice, and other rights for a long time. But I think we are at a very critical period right now where we are backtracking on a lot of civil rights and women's rights. I mean, with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, I mean, we can know that women are under attack. You know, people think abortion, oh, everybody just wants one. That's not the way it works. Abortion is health care. Sometimes abortion is extremely necessary. And to say, oh, a politician can make that decision about a woman's right, what happens to her body, instead of it should be between the woman and her doctor, this is incredibly bad for society, bad for women, bad for children, bad for every aspect of human rights.
Right.
And so that's a big part of this. And then there's other stuff that deals with misogyny. During the pandemic, Rodriguez Calero, one of the artists in the show, she has a series called Target of Prejudice. And several of the pieces in the show deal with women, Asian women, being targeted during the pandemic. We remember the former guy had a very derogatory term for the pandemic, called it the Asian flu, and that resulted in a lot of women, and Asian women and men, but for some reason Asian women were targeted more, being hurt, being killed, being murdered. I mean, people don't really think about how society, how politicians, they just spout off sometimes, and they really hurt everyday people.
Let me ask Donna for a second, talking about the intersection, right? Because there's this huge intersection between art and social justice, art and women's issues, and you know, this is compelling because when we see art, obviously it's an attention grabber, but then for the artists themselves, what grabbed your attention to say, I want to use my art and, you know, create this intersection?
Well, I have a background in graffiti. I was one of the few female graffiti writers during the 90s. I had a long career in graffiti art. So I'm not afraid to get my name out there and to speak up about something that bothers me. That sort of more or less led to activism during the 2000s, and I've volunteered on political campaigns, and I've always felt that everyday people can make a difference, and that includes me, an artist. Yeah.
And part of your work is actually, you know, your art is actually speaking against oppression.
Yes, it is. I feel like there's a lot of shared struggle going on right now in this country with the rollback of rights, as Valerie spoke about, and it's important that we you know, get together and stand up for ourselves.
Yeah. And so people have an opportunity to take part. Talk to us about what they can do in order to see the intersection of art and then also social justice and women's issues.
Well, the show is up until April 21st. It opened on March 8th, which was International Women's Day, so it was a very appropriate day to open the show. Our next event is a Sunday soiree on the 24th of March, and that will be from 4 to 7 p.m. We also have an artist talk at the gallery. The gallery is in Red Hook, Brooklyn. We also have an artist talk on Saturday, March 30th, and that's from 3 to 5 p.m. And then we do have a closing reception on April 18th, that's a Thursday, from 6 to 9 p.m. The show is also open to the public, and we are getting a lot of requests for groups, women's groups, other groups that want to come and see the show and talk about it with the gallery owners. I want to give a shout out to Liz Galvin and Jamie Walker. These women are powerhouses. This is an artist-owned and a woman artist owned and operated gallery by 2 artists, and they've done a great job, and they're not afraid to shy away from important issues too. I have to say, a lot of galleries wouldn't have touched this show. So shout out to the wonderful women who run this gallery.
And they really did put their name out there and stood behind it.
Yep.
All righty.
Wonderful.
Well, we got to leave it there. Valerie, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, Diana, for being with us as well.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, glad to have you. All right, now, if you want
pleasure.
more information, please visit the website at ValerieLargo.com. And then also you got DinahHiggins.com. I can do that for you, actually. There's a little poster right here that you didn't catch. And you can see these posters out there. Make sure you get connected. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
Congratulations, BronxNet, on your 30th anniversary. Bronx Best is my show, and I had a great experience being able to bring my story to the Bronx Network. It's really changed my life, and I look forward to growing with the network, and I think that it's a wonderful place to grow and learn, and I think that everyone should take advantage of all the wonderful programs and things that go on here.
And we are back. Well, despite the season's challenges, Cardinal Hayes made history as the first New York City school to take home the prestigious AAA title in nearly 50 years. Now, in recognition of this achievement, Bank of America is generously donating $50,000 supporting the victorious football program. And here now to share more is the Preferred Business Region Executive at Bank of America, Fernando Nuñez, and we thank you so much for being with us, and good to have you.
Oh, thank you, Daren. Appreciate being here. Thanks for the invite.
No, glad to have you. When we talk about, we're all proud of Cardinal Hayes, first of all.
Yes.
And I have to say that. I'm a Rice High School guy, but listen.
Rice High School?
Yeah, man. Listen, no, we can't go there yet. Rivalry. Right. But, to see them do so well, honestly, we want to give them a shout out. And then at the same time, you guys said that you want to step in and do something. Talk to us about, were you following Cardinal Hayes all along or what?
Yes. So I'm a Cardinal Hayes alum.
Right.
And for me, it was a proud moment to see
let me shake your hand.
my alma mater win the state championship, first in the city school to do so. And it caught Bank of America's attention. We were really inspired by the story. And interesting enough, when you think about how they accomplished this championship, it's a typical New York story, right? It's a story about grit, tenacity, overcoming obstacles, and we were so proud of those young athletes. And for us to come in and provide a donation was a great honor for us. And at the same time, we're also committing to providing financial literacy going forward, because we know it's such an important topic in the community like the South Bronx, right? To ensure we equip these students and these athletes with everything that they need to prepare themselves for the future.
Well, talk to me a little bit about the story, because maybe people aren't so familiar with the story of Cardinal Hayes as they went through this year and what they were going through.
It was a fascinating story. They had limited resources. Their gym was outdoors with old equipment, and they couldn't play at home because the field wasn't really suited to host any fans, or the field wasn't really equipped to have football games. And they had to play road games throughout the entire season. And at the same time, things happened over and over again to just set them back a bit. And they were not rattled by it and overcame those challenges and went on a great winning streak, ensuring that they won the championship.
And the reality is winning on the road is not easy. And when you play a whole season on the road and then you're able to come home with a championship, obviously, big shout out to Cardinal Hayes, because that is not an easy thing to do. No football field per se, and then you have no home games, but the fans still troop on out there. Got one sitting right across here,
course,
right?
Of course.
So really, we talk now about athletics. You got the NIL out there for college athletes and stuff like that, but the truth is, a lot of our young guys are not, and women are not really prepared. And so to do financial literacy, talk about how significant that is in the life of students at this early portion.
No, that's a great question. And this is something that they're very committed to in terms of ensuring that they continue to provide financial literacy for their students. And for us at Bank of America, we provide different courses around, hey, how to save, how to build credit, and ensure that you build for retirement as well. And these are the things that really set up our future talent for success, and especially in those communities. We've engaged some of the students, are even talking about how they can help their parents go forward in terms of ensuring that they're able to help their parents get their students for college.
And this is going to be called the Better Money Habits Program. I
Yes, the
understand,
Better Money
right?
Habits Program, yes.
So they'll be able to participate
Of course,
in that and
yep.
do that. So with the $50,000, I mean, obviously students are excited. If I'm a senior, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had it last year. But the ones who are coming in, they're gonna take that. They're gonna say, what's the $50,000? What can we see? Equipment.
Yeah,
jerseys?
so it's going to be tied to equipment, improving the gym. I got to tour the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that they want to make sure they modernize and make that
Doesn't
much
look
better.
the same like when you went to school.
No. The school's in a much better place
right,
now.
Okay.
And they're really a beacon of hope. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing that resonated with me as I've engaged the students and the faculty there. What they stand for in terms of that community and what they do for those students is pretty remarkable.
Right.
I'm a product of it,
Right.
having grown up in Washington Heights and lived in the South Bronx and went to school there. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I was given through Cardinal Hayes and what they give back to the community.
I mean, for yourself, obviously, as you talk about it, I mean, you're an alum, right? And so
Yes.
to have the opportunity to give back to your team and your school, that feeling itself of, to give back to any program is good, but when it's your
Yes.
home
Yes.
and you're in your backyard, it's got to be even a greater feeling.
Definitely. No, listen, it felt pretty cool to go back with a
Yeah.
$50,000 check to my high school and give back to them, which meant so much.
No, that's good. And it's really a great story because I think when you think about the obstacles they really had to overcome and the work that they had to do, and really there was no guarantee at the end, but here comes Bank of America in the end to say, listen, we can make things better for next season and moving on. So what happens? You got season tickets now?
I got season tickets, and interesting enough, the bank also hires a ton of teammates from the South Bronx. It's one of the biggest things that we take great pride in, and we're looking at this as an opportunity to really help, create that career pathway for future talent, because they represent so much of what leads to success in corporate America.
Yeah. Back in the day, Rice Raiders don't shake hands with Cardinal Hayes, but I'm going to have to do it again, all right?
Thank you. Great seeing you.
Listen, it's great seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue to do great work, and thank you for
Appreciate it.
supporting young people because I think it's so much needed. And,
No, our pleasure.
And it's a shame because I think so many times we also think about how sports teams, they just got it. But the reality is there's so many schools out there that are struggling just to make it. So thank you. Thanks for filling the gap. All right. Listen, for more information, follow them on Instagram and Twitter at FNuñez164. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Without BronxNet, I don't know how we'd be able to showcase the important and amazing talents that we have here at the Bronx. We've been able to feature lots of great artists, performers, people who deal with coffee and small entrepreneurship businesses, discuss controversial topics, and also be able to share the voice of residents that might not normally have access without a place like BronxNet.
And we are back. Food Bank for New York City has one of the single largest volunteer income tax assistance programs in the United States. Now, over the last 20 years, this organization has been tirelessly providing low-income New Yorkers with essential tax assistance, putting millions of dollars really back into their pockets. And here now to share more is the Senior Vice President of Programs for the food bank for New York City, Zach Hall. Zach, good to have you again.
Thank you, Darren. Appreciate to be here.
Listen, as we talk about it, I'm glad, this is good. I mean, here we go. We just talked in the last segment, helping some high school students out. Now we're helping New Yorkers out in terms of, tax returns and keep more money in your pocket.
Absolutely. Why pay?
Right.
85% of our tax clients get a refund, and we want to make sure that they keep as much of that in their pockets to put food on the table. Why would a food bank do volunteer tax assistance? Because food is not a single issue. We make sure that folks have the resources they need to put food on the table and feed their families.
Right. Food insecurity is huge, though. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, when we talk about food insecurity, tell me what you're saying.
Well, we're still seeing about 1.1 million New Yorkers each year relying on our services across New York City. So we're in about 90% of the zip codes in New York City through our network of 800 or more soup kitchens and food pantries. And any element of benefit is supporting that work to get folks food on the table. Financial security is really phenomenal. And we take a whole person-centered approach to looking at, obviously, our core business is food distribution and connections back to actual meals for today. We want to make sure that folks have the resources and benefits to make a secure future for tomorrow as well.
I mean, kudos to whoever was the visionary, because I think when you talk about, here we are struggling with the area of food, but now I'm able to save some money and buy food for myself or whatever I want to do. But then Food Bank steps in and says, listen, we'll provide these tax preparers. So for somebody out there who doesn't know, how do they go about doing this here? And what's the criteria?
Well, great question. To be eligible for a volunteer income tax assistance from Food Bank and any other providers in the city, you need to earn $65,000 or less in 2023. So you can visit our website to learn more about the different models and services that we have. But we do online, 100% online, where folks can use their smartphones and computers and tablets, scan their tax documents, send it securely and safely to us, and we'll prepare your taxes for free. But we also have dozens of sites across the city where folks can get in-person tax services as well.
What's the response been? I mean, I already know, but I want our viewers to know the response of people who've actually taken advantage of this.
Yeah, for the last 22 years we've been doing this, we've helped over 840,000 people file their taxes for free, creating $1.4 billion with a B dollars in tax refunds back to New York City. And this year we'll do probably around 17,000 tax returns.
And the other point that we're really not, we really didn't uplift is, for somebody, sometimes getting the taxes done is not the easiest thing, right?
Right.
And so now you're also lifting the burden of, here you are, I can get this done for you.
Right, exactly. So oftentimes I tell folks that, tax is a four-letter word for a lot of people, so it's a really stressful time. And folks still may not have the internet connection. They may not have a service in their community to access this. But we know that free tax assistance, financial services like this are really for folks in the community that need it the most. So, visit Food Bank's website, foodbanknyc.org/tax help to learn more about the different programs and services in the community, making sure that all of our tax preparers and staff and volunteers doing this work are IRS certified. We are sponsored and have been for over 20 years by the IRS. High quality free tax assistance that rivals some of the retail preparers that are out there.
And the deadline for that again?
April 15th is the filing deadline, but early and often is what we always tell people about filing for taxes, and make sure that they get it done and get the refund back in their pocket as soon as they can.
And year after year, are you seeing an increase in this?
Yeah, we see demand every year for our services, and we have appointments-based system, so folks know when they can come and get served. So we manage folks' time and their own calendars, and manage the time that they have to do the services work for themselves.
Do you end up turning people away too?
Well, we have limited space, so like I said, early and often, and sign up now. Don't delay, and don't put it off until April, because that's when the season gets busy. We want to make sure that folks have the access that they can now.
Yeah. For Food Bank, I know on the topic of just really food distribution and getting food out there to the community, talk to us about it, where you get your stuff from and how you're able to get it out.
Well, we do a lot of sourcing from a lot of different sources for food, but a lot of it is we get some government product that comes in to us, and we can have high quality, healthy food coming in across all the food groups. But we also do a lot of wholesale purchasing. Being that we're a large purchaser, we can move food at a relatively low cost, and we get lots of donations from corporate partners across the area. And that food comes in our warehouse in Hunts Point, not too far from here, and goes across the city every day. Dozens and dozens of huge trucks going around the city delivering food.
Does it ever give you pause to look around and see the amount of people who are in New York City who are just struggling with the issue of food insecurity in a place where they talk about, the city that never sleeps, and we've got a whole lot of great things going on, but at the same time, we've got this issue here.
It's just something that keeps us up at night for sure. Like, what's the best way to serve this community? I think maybe my math might be off, but the food insecure population in New York City, about 1.1 million people, would be, I think, in the top 10 largest cities in the United States. So think about that level of need. Mm-hmm. Folks can donate, they can get involved as a volunteer with us. There's dozens of pantries in all communities across the city, like I said, but making sure that, this is a fundamental need for food to have, for people to have access to food. Everybody eats, right? So we're making sure that that is something that we can all, as New Yorkers, come together and address. Hunger is something that we should really eliminate in this country, but we've been doing this for 40 years, and we still see this level of demand. But a lot of the work around that we're doing is looking at what is the future of addressing food insecurity look like on the financial front, and that's a huge component of this.
And talk to me about what the future does look like for you.
Well, we're doing, we're continuing to build on beyond food initiatives. So we have large-scale free SNAP assistance that we do with our own staff, but we have a network of providers that SNAP is the first best solution to address hunger in the city. Free taxes, as we've been talking about, but we're also moving into integrations more with the healthcare space and making sure that we see food as health as a really important fundamental component of integrating our services with making communities healthier and ensuring families have the food that they need to stay healthy.
Yeah. I know after COVID, that highlighted food insecurity. Where are we now in terms of what you're saying? Is it even worse since then, or are we getting a little bit better?
It's still significant. I think the costs of living have still been plateaued at a higher level pre-pandemic. So housing, food, transportation, childcare, all those things that many New Yorkers rely upon are still at a high level, and incomes and support haven't scaled up to the same level. So we're still seeing, like I said, millions of people struggling financially across the city, and many of whom, there are folks going to access food services in our pantry system that may not be able or eligible for SNAP benefits, for example. And the emergency food system is the only way that those folks are able to access regular food supports.
Yeah. Talk to me about time of year. During this time of year, what's the worst time of year actually for when you see the large numbers in terms of food insecurity problems?
Well, it depends. I think one of the things that we often see is people really get enthusiastic about supporting food banks and our work around the holidays, so Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and so forth. But we need support all year long, and January, February is a big time of month of the year for us to kick off our tax services. But it's also the time where we see folks waiting out in lines for food in the snow and cold weather, and we make sure as efficiently as we can get those folks in. And part of that is being able to serve the communities that we have with resources from our warehouse in the Bronx.
Exactly.
Darren,
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All righty. Well, listen, I want to let you know more information. Visit the website at foodbanknyc.com/Vita, and then follow them on social media, foodbank4NYC. We've come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us and the viewer for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, catch the recable cast, Optimum's Channel 67, Verizon Files Channel 2133, or catch a brand new episode on Friday with my girl, Rena Valentine. I am Daren Jaime saying take care, God bless. Make sure you keep this channel wide open.